Part 3 of Buyback of Shares. Here we will discuss Explanatory Statement and Promoters Disclosures, Solvency Declaration, Auditor's Report. We will have a frequently asked question series. So welcome back to RR Corporates. In Part 1 we understood the basics of the buyback, and in Part 2 we discussed the eligibility conditions and board resolution, board approval, special resolution and the valuation. Now we are discussing the Part 3, one of the most critical compliance stage of the buyback. So many companies focus only on the passing of the resolution but ignore the detailed disclosures required under the law. We'll see what are the disclosures that are extremely important, because the shareholders take their decision based on the information provided by the company. So let us understand these compliances through practical FAQ model. Why is the explanatory statement important in buyback of shares? The answer is, whenever shareholders' approval is required through a special resolution, the notice of the general meeting must be accompanied with the explanatory statement containing all material facts relating to the proposed buyback. So the purpose is to ensure that the shareholders make an informed decision before approving the buyback. Practical example I will give. Suppose a company merely states that the company proposes to buyback of shares. Will this be sufficient? No, because the law requires comprehensive disclosures regarding the proposal. So what information should be there in explanatory statement? In the explanatory statement, so it should include, among the other things, such as the date of board meeting approving a buyback, and necessity and objects of the buyback, class of shares proposed to be bought back, number of shares proposed to be bought back, and method of buyback price, basis arriving at the buyback price, maximum amount proposed to be utilized, source of funds, time limit for completion of the buyback. So why are these disclosures are important? So they help the shareholders to evaluate whether the buyback is fair, whether the price is reasonable, whether the company has adequate financial resources, whether the proposal benefits all the shareholders. So never copy disclosures from another company's buyback notice. Each buyback must be supported by facts so specific to that company. What the disclosures are required regarding promoters, directors and KMPs. So there are disclosures relating to the board, promoters, directors. Company must disclose the aggregate shareholding of the promoters, shareholding of the directors, shareholding of the KMP, transaction undertaken by them during the preceding 12 months, maximum and minimum prices at which such transactions took place, when they acquired, whether the promoters intend to tender their shares in this buyback, number of shares proposed to be tendered by promoters. So details of acquisition of such shares, including date and price, because if they wish to buy back now, when they acquired those shares, promoters, directors, KMPs. So why is these disclosures are necessary? Suppose the promoters acquire shares shortly before the buyback at lower price and then tender them at significantly higher buyback price. Such transactions may raise questions regarding fairness. So the disclosure requirement promotes transparency and protect minority shareholders. For example, Mr. X, a promoter, purchased 50,000 shares in 6 months before the buyback. He intends to tender those shares. The company should disclose the number of shares acquired, date of acquisition, purchase price, existing holding, proposed quantity for buyback. So this enables the shareholders to understand the promoter's position. When is the buyback prohibited due to defaults? The answer is, a company cannot undertake buyback if there is subsisting default. Default in repayment of deposits, repayment of interest on deposits, redemption of debentures, default in payment of interest on debentures, default in redemption of preference shares and payment of dividend, repayment of term loans, or payment of interest to banks or financial institutions. So these are all the defaults which will prohibit for buyback. So I'll give you an example. ABC Limited has defaulted in repayment of a bank term loan. Can it proceed with the buyback? No, because the company must first remedy the default and comply with the statutory requirements before considering the buyback. Even where there is no statutory default, professionals should carefully examine the loan agreements. Many banks include a restrictive covenant requiring prior approval, prior intimation, or no objection. So before the company undertakes buyback, so better to check. Ignoring such contractual obligations may amount to a breach of the financial agreement. What confirmations should be Board of Directors provide regarding the solvency? Before proceeding with the buyback, the board must form an opinion after making full inquiry into the affairs and prospects of the company that immediately after the buyback there are no grounds on which the company would be unable to pay its debts. These disclosures has to be given by the directors. The company will be able to meet the liabilities and when they fall due during the following year. So this para should be there in that disclosure. The company will be able to meet all its liabilities as and when they fall due during the following year. The company will not become insolvent in 1 year. While arriving this opinion, the board has taken into account all existing contingent and prospective liabilities. So this is the declaration. Why this is significant? Buyback results in outflow of the funds from the company. So the law therefore seeks assurance that creditors are not prejudiced and that the company's financial position remains sound. I'll give you an example. Suppose the company has a cash balance 50 crores and outstanding liabilities 48 crores. Proposed buyback is 20 crores. So if the company proceeds with the buyback, it may face difficulty in meeting future obligations. Board should carefully evaluate such financial implications before giving the solvency confirmation. Is an auditor's report required before buyback? Yes. Statutory auditor must submit a report to the board confirming, among other things, that the auditor has examined the company's financial position, the permissible capital payment has been correctly determined, the financial statements used for buyback calculations are within the prescribed period or appropriately reviewed wherever required. So the board's opinion regarding the solvency has been formed on reasonable grounds and the company is not likely to become insolvent within 1 year. So the auditor's report provides independent assurance that the buyback proposal is financially sustainable and compliant with the statutory requirements. This is the importance of the auditor report. So the checklist before issuing a notice is: before circulating a notice to the shareholders, please verify explanatory statement prepared first, buyback objective clearly stated there, buyback price and valuation basis disclosed properly, and promoters disclosures are completed, KMP shareholding is verified, default status confirmed, and bank covenants reviewed, board solvency opinion documented properly, so auditor's report obtained. So these are all the things prior to giving a notice has to be checked. See, generally in our practice what we will see, the common mistakes done by the companies: incomplete explanatory statement, failure to disclose promoters' recent transactions, ignoring a loan agreement restrictions, providing solvency confirmation without adequate financial analysis. Another mistake, proceeding without obtaining auditor's report. Such lapses can lead to regulatory scrutiny and compliance issues. So, key takeaways from this video part 3 is: the explanatory statement must contain comprehensive disclosures enabling shareholders to take an informed decision. Detailed disclosures regarding promoters, directors, KMPs are mandatory. Buyback is prohibited where specified repayment or payment default subsist. The board must provide well and founded solvency confirmation after considering all the liabilities. And the auditor's report is an essential safeguard confirming the financial viability of the proposed buyback. In part 4, in the next part, we will discuss debt equity ratio, 1 year gap between two buybacks, fully paid up shares requirement, restriction on fresh issue shares, separate bank account, capital redemption reserve, complete ROC forms, MGD 14, SH8, SH9, SH10, SH11, practical filing timelines. So part 4 will provide complete compliance roadmaps for the companies handling buyback transactions from the approval to ROC filings. So thank you for watching. We have two channels, RR Corporates and RR Legal Talks. Please do subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you will not miss my latest videos. We will meet in part 4. Thank you.